I love it. I love it. I love it. Look at this. This is the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Hey, I'm not surprised.
What's poppin', my homies? Hope you're doing well, feeling blessed, having a good day, having a good week. This one's a big pay-per-view card. UFC 321, Tom Aspinall taking on Ciryl Gane. And I'm going to do a quicker style breakdown on this episode. So let me know if you prefer the quicker style breakdowns or the longer style breakdowns that I've done on the previous breakdowns. All right, my homies, let's go. First matchup, we've got Jaqueline and Amorim taking on Mizuki, and it's an easy first prediction to make here. We've got Jaqueline and Amorim, who has world-class jiu-jitsu, a super high-level ground game. Mizuki is super inactive. I didn't even know she was still on the roster, so I'm going to say Mizuki is just here for a paycheck, whereas Jaqueline and Amorim, she's here for a nice submission win. If the matchup stays on the feet, it might be closer than the betting odds suggest, but I still favour the Brazilian Jaqueline and Amorim, because eventually she does get the takedown, and when she does, that's where you see the world-class jiu-jitsu of Jaqueline. So the first prediction has to be the Brazilian Jaqueline Amorim, the minus 400 to get it done. Azat Maksum taking on Mitch Raposo, and I've got to be entirely honest here. I don't know why Mitch Raposo is in the UFC. He's a weak wrestler. When he gets the takedown, he doesn't secure the takedown. If the matchup stays on the feet, his striking isn't that good. In my opinion, Mitch Raposo is far from UFC caliber. He's not high level whatsoever. Whereas Azat Maksum is pretty well rounded. He's a decent wrestler. He's a decent grappler. He lost against Charles Johnson, but won a round against Charles Johnson. He lost against Tagir Ulanbekov, but had a relatively competitive matchup against Tagir Ulanbekov by stopping multiple takedowns in that fight. I can't see Mitch Raposo out wrestling Azat Maksum because Tagir Ulanbekov could hardly get takedowns and could hardly out wrestle Azat Maksum. So if Tagir's finding it hard to get Azat Maksum to the ground, I can't see Mitch Raposo getting him to the ground. And even if he does, he's not going to secure the takedown. If the matchup stays on the feet, Mitch Raposo, I can't see him doing anything on the feet. So my prediction has to be Azat Maksum. I don't understand why Mitch Raposo is on the UFC roster. I really don't. So the prediction has to be Azat Maksum. Chris Barnett taking on Hamdy Abdelwahab. I'm going to pick Hamdy Abdelwahab to win this matchup because what is Chris Barnett still doing in the UFC? I guess the spinning attacks of Chris Barnett are pretty good, but nobody should lose to Chris Barnett. Not even Hamdy Abdelwahab. And Hamdy Abdelwahab isn't good, by the way. He's not good. It's basically low-level fighter against low-level fighter. And in a low-level heavyweight matchup, I'm not picking Chris Barnett. I'll pick Hamdy Abdelwahab to hold Chris Barnett against the fence or to win a super slow striking matchup. I'm not picking Chris Barnett. I'm going to pick Hamdy Abdelwahab, but yeah, it's low level. It's super low level. And in a low level matchup, I'll take Hamdy Abdelwahab. Delgado taking on Nathaniel Wood. Now this one's super high level. This one's really good. Delgado has amazing striking, amazing technique, amazing precision, amazing sharpness, but he doesn't have the experience. Whereas Nathaniel Wood, he's super well-rounded. High-level grappling, high-level wrestling, high-level boxing, high-level kicking, amazing cardio, amazing fight IQ. He's so good, is Nathaniel Wood. So it's a very tough matchup, a very high-level matchup, but I just think Delgado is the more natural 145er. Don't get me wrong, guys. Nathaniel Wood has been amazing at 145 since he stepped up from bantamweight, but Delgado has the more natural 145 physique. He's got amazing accuracy and he's so dangerous. So I kind of think Nathaniel Wood is going to get clipped at some point in this fight. But it could also be a case where Delgado isn't ready to fight someone as experienced, as well-rounded as Nathaniel Wood. But my instincts say Delgado KO TKO. So I'm going to take Delgado to get a round 1 or round 2 clipping, a dusting against Nathaniel Wood. Walter Walker, the heel hook specialist versus Louie Sutherland. And I'm going to make an unpopular prediction here. I'm going to say Louie Sutherland survives round 1 and outclasses Walter Walker on the feet. Now that prediction based on the betting line isn't going to win. Walter Walker is so dangerous with the heel hook. And there's a good chance he does get that heel hook submission. But if Louie Sutherland survives round 1, there's a very possible case where Walter Walker just slows down and just loses a striking matchup on the feet. I'm going to say the big underdog, Louie Sutherland, gets it done. I'm on the side of Louie Sutherland, but yeah, I'm not betting it. I'm not betting it. So take my prediction with a grain of salt. I just think if you survive round 1 against Walter Walker, you might be live to win. Next matchup, we've got Rebecki taking on Ludovic Klein, and I'm actually going to pick Rebecki to win this fight, even though he's taken an insane amount of damage in his last few fights. The striking defense of Rebecki is outrageously bad. However, Ludovic Klein doesn't have the best takedown defense, and he can fold under relenting pressure. And once you get Ludovic tired, half the job is done. Now, Rebecki isn't some elite striker. He's not got elite defense, but he does have a strong ability to just fight. Even if he's getting beat up, he continues to fight. So there's a case where Rebecki loses the first 6 or 7 minutes, but Ludovic may fold under the relentless pressure Rebecki fights with. Rebecki can get takedowns. He can smash Ludovic on the ground. He can kind of break Ludovic in the second half of this fight. However, I'm sure most people won't want to put money on Rebecki because his defense is diabolical and it's tough to bet someone that's got zero defense. But guys, I do think Rebecki is a potential live underdog if anyone's brave enough to back it. I just think Rebecki's style is tailor-made for someone that breaks like Ludovic Klein does. The more technical kickboxer though is Ludovic Klein. He's got an amazing left high kick, but something tells me after round 1, Rebecki just breaks down Ludovic Klein, and once Ludovic slows down midway into round 2, I think the favourite's going to get beat. So I do lean towards Rebecki as a live underdog. My prediction, Mateusz Rebecki. Ikram Aliskerov taking on Junyon Park. Super good matchmaking. Ikram Aliskerov has dangerous striking. He's so accurate. He's so precise with his strikes in round 1. He's got multiple round 1 dusterations. He's a problem, is the 4-time combat sambo world champion, Ikram Aliskerov. On the flip side, we've got Junyon Park, who is insanely durable, super well-rounded, super high output, amazing forward pressure. He's a wrestler, he's a grappler. He's a problem, is Junyon Park. Here's how you make a prediction on this fight, though. To make a prediction, you answer this simple question, or maybe not so simple, but you answer this question. Do you think Junyon Park is eating those punches in round 1? If the answer is yes, and he eats those punches like breakfast, as he so often does, in that case, Junyon Park is a very live underdog. However, Ikram Aliskerov has insane accuracy, insane power. He's so precise with those early strikes that he might actually sleep Junyon Park. Guys, don't forget, Junyon Park has awful defense. His defense is outrageously bad. He's so hittable, but he's extremely durable. He's super tough. So the question is simple. Does the durability of Junyon Park hold up in round 1 against Ikram Aliskerov or early in round 2? In my opinion, no, it does not. I think Ikram Aliskerov shuts his lights off in round 1 or early round 2. Ikram Aliskerov with a KO TKO, he's going to shut the lights off on Junyon Park. Nasrat Haqparast taking on Quillan Salkeld. Guys, it's a great matchup, it really is. But I don't believe Salkeld has the experience for this fight, especially on short notice. Nasrat has amazing boxing. He's one of the best defensive boxers in the UFC. His defense ain't the best, but he's extremely tough. So even if Salkeld hits Nasrat with his best strike, Nasrat can eat those punches. Whereas Salkeld, he's never been in there with someone like Nasrat. Don't get it twisted, man. Nasrat is super high level, and I'm very surprised the betting line's even. I would have thought that Nasrat would have been minus 200, not minus 110. I can't pick against Nasrat Haqparast. No way. No way, man. If Salkeld gets it done, he's a serious problem. Winning against someone like Nasrat Haqparast and on short notice, in my opinion, would be insane, especially for someone as inexperienced as Quillan Salkeld. So yeah, man, let's go with Nasrat Haqparast to put on a boxing masterclass. Maybe the fight's kind of even in round 1. Maybe the fight's competitive and close for the first 7 or 8 minutes, but once the fight kind of gets ugly, that's when Nasrat's really going to land those punches, and Quillan has never felt the punches of someone like Nasrat Haqparast. We've got to go with Nasrat Haqparast. We have to. Azat Murzakanov taking on Alexander Rakic. A very 50-50 matchup here. High-level matchmaking. And Rakic is a very high-level kickboxer. His kicking ability is super high level. Recently, though, he's not looked good. He got injured against Jandiroba, and since that fight, he's lost a couple fights. He done well against Jiří Procházka, but still lost that fight. Still took a good amount of damage in that fight. He is high level, though. Despite losing a couple fights, he could definitely win against Azat Murzakanov. And as for Azat Murzakanov, he's undefeated. He's looked super good his whole UFC career. He's got amazing boxing, but he's not a traditional boxer. He's very focused on staying on the outside and kind of blitzing at the right time. But staying on the outside won't work against Alexander Rakic. it's certainly a step up for Murzakanov. And it's also possible that Murzakanov is catching Alexander Rakic at the right time. But it's also possible that Alexander Rakic is good enough to win against Murzakanov. Ultimately, it's a 50-50 matchup. And my prediction has to be, as I'm at Murzakanov, I just can't trust Alexander Rakic. Jailton Almeida taking on Alexander Volkov, a pretty tough matchup to predict, but an easy matchup to break down. If the fight stays on the feet, it's an easy fight for Alexander Volkov. He's going to easily win against Jailton Almeida on the feet because Jailton Almeida has no striking. He's a world-class grappler, not a striker. If the matchup goes to the ground though, it's an easy matchup for Jailton Almeida because Volkov doesn't have the grappling ability to survive on the ground against someone with high-level jiu-jitsu like Jailton Almeida. So the matchup's decided based on where the fight takes place. All fights start on the feet. So the question is, does Jailton Almeida get the takedown or does Alexander Volkov showcase good defensive wrestling? Underdog bettors want the fight on the feet. Favourite bettors want the fight on the ground. I believe though, Jailton Almeida is going to get that takedown because Alexander Volkov has been taken down in multiple fights, which makes me think Jailton Almeida can get the takedown. And if Jailton Almeida does get the takedown, now we're looking at a submission victory or even rounds being won based on grappling control. The prediction is the Brazilian, the grappler, Jailton Almeida. Umar Nurmagomedov taking on Mario Bautista, and this matchup may be my most confident prediction on this card. I believe Umar Nurmagomedov is going to win this fight. Mario Bautista is very good. He's a solid boxer, good power, good cardio, good wrestling, good grappling. He's very good, is Mario Bautista. But Umar Nurmagomedov is just on a higher level. Umar's the better wrestler. He's the better grappler. He's got the hometown advantage. He's got the way better kicking game compared to Mario. The kicks of Umar Nurmagomedov are super high level. Mario needs to stay in the pocket. He needs to be in boxing range. And I just can't see Umar allowing for Mario to do that. I think Umar can win rounds on the ground or even win rounds on the feet by keeping Mario at kicking distance. So my prediction here would have to be Umar Nurmagomedov to get it done. My most confident pick on the card, I think he wins on the judges' scorecards. Mackenzie Dern taking on Virna Jandiroba. In the first fight, I picked Mackenzie Dern and she just about won that fight. Since then, she's improved her boxing massively with the help of Jason Ciryl. And that's a massive talking point on the side of Mackenzie Dern. She's massively improved her boxing, massively improved her striking ability. Whereas Virna Jandiroba, her striking ain't that good. She mainly relies on her high-level jiu-jitsu to win fights. However, Virna can't out-grapple Mackenzie Dern because Mackenzie Dern also has super high-level Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And 9 times out of 10, when both fighters have amazing grappling, the fight stays on the feet. And if the matchup stays on the feet, if it stays striking, which it probably will for a good amount of time, in that case, Mackenzie Dern should win the stand-up. Her striking is greatly improved since her first fight. Jason Ciryl might be the main reason why Mackenzie Dern is about to become champion. Virna has the more impressive win streak. She has the more impressive run since her first fight. But Virna can't out-grapple Mackenzie and she can't out-strike Mackenzie. It's a stylistically bad matchup for Virna Jandiroba. If Mackenzie won the first fight and she's even better now, that leads me to believe that Mackenzie Dern, she's going to win the rematch and even in more dominating fashion. Mackenzie champion. I think she becomes champion. That's my pick. The main event, we've got Tom Aspinall taking on Ciryl Gane, and my honest thoughts on the main event are, it's a tough matchup to make a prediction on, and I would advise everyone to stay away from betting this main event. Now, most people will disagree. Most people will say Tom Aspinall is an easy winner, but here's why that may not be true. We don't know what Tom Aspinall looks like deep into round 2. We don't know what he looks like in round 3. We don't know what he looks like in round 4 or even a 5th and final round. We do know though that Tom Aspinall has insanely dangerous punching in round 1. We know he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, a very good wrestler. We know he's got insanely fast hands early in the fight. We know he's got excellent speed, excellent footwork. We know he's a knockout artist in round 1. We don't know how all of those skills though hold up 10 minutes into a fight or 15 minutes into a fight, 17 minutes, 20 minutes, 22 minutes. We simply don't know what Tom Aspinall looks like past round 1. We don't know. So despite how dominant he is in round 1, we still don't know what Tom Aspinall's truly made of. We don't know what it looks like when he's actually tested because he actually hasn't been tested yet in a fight. And that's a mix of Tom Aspinall being super good and the heavyweight division being dead. Now, Ciryl Gane is super high level. He's an amazing kicker. More of a kicker than a puncher. He's got amazing footwork, amazing agility. He switches stances beautifully. He throws kicks to the calf, throws kicks to the body. He can kick from both stances. He's got decent cardio. He's been 5 rounds on multiple occasions. He's super high level on the feet. Amazing striking on the side of Ciryl Gane. He doesn't have the same boxing ability as Tom Aspinall, but that's because he's more of a kicker than a puncher. Here's the one bad thing about Ciryl Gane, and maybe the only bad thing I could possibly say about Ciryl Gane. He doesn't have a ground game. He doesn't have grappling. His grappling is like white belt grappling. 0 wrestling, 0 jiu-jitsu, and that's a major weakness to have against the black belt, Tom Aspinall. So if Tom Aspinall followed the exact game plan of Jon Jones, get the early takedown, it's extremely likely that he would win this fight by submission, just like Jon Jones did. And that's obviously the path of least resistance. That's clearly the smart game plan to win this fight. And that's exactly what he done against Alexander Volkov. So Tom Aspinall can do that. But will he follow that exact game plan? Because Tom Aspinall answered a question at the press conference yesterday. And the question was something about, will you take down Gane or allow for the fight to happen organically? And Tom Aspinall said he's going to allow for the fight to happen organically. Now that's dangerous, because the clear and obvious game plan is to get the takedown and take the easy win on the ground. And I'm not saying Tom Aspinall can't knock Gane dead in round 1. I'm not saying he can't knock him out, but I am saying Gane isn't flat-footed like Marcin Tybura. Gane isn't negative IQ, dusty jaw, dusty glass chin, Curtis Blades. Gane isn't march forward in a straight line like Sergei Pavlovich. Ciryl Gane is extremely high level in IQ, footwork, speed, kicking, switching of stances, and just showcasing a diverse striking game. He's very, very good on the feet. And against someone like that, just go for the takedown and take a free win on the ground. So the fight's decided based on the game plan of Tom Aspinall. If Aspinall wants to strike, it's very possible we go past round 1 and he actually loses to Ciryl Gane. It's very possible. But it's also possible that if Tom Aspinall goes for an early takedown, it's very possible he gets a round 1 submission, just like Jon Jones. And we're all saying, see, anything Jon can do, Tom can do too. Anything Jon can do, Tom can do better. It's all dependent on the game plan of Tom Aspinall. I'm going to side with Tom Aspinall to win the fight, but it's a no bet for me, simply based on not knowing what Tom Aspinall looks like past round 1, not knowing what it looks like when he's in an actual fight, because he's never been tested. He just hits the opponent in round 1 and the opponent falls to the ground. That may not be the case against Ciryl Gane. We don't know what it looks like when he's actually tested. So I'm going to take Tom Aspinall to win the fight, but it's a no bet, in my opinion. As always, my homies, let me know who you think wins in the main event, in the co-main event, all that good stuff. Drop down your picks and bets in the comment section below. And as always, keep your eyes to the sky and never glued to your shoes. Peace.